to be the mature relationship where we get to be authentically ourselves, they get to be authentically themselves, and we work together to mold this thing into something that's really beautiful. But that is also hard. And so I kind of want to stop talking and give it back to you to talk about this vulnerable part when it feels threatened, or when it, like, what are some of the things that come up?
Well, so for example, when I feel vulnerable or threatened, I tend to respond by. So a sense of vulnerability or threat will probably be stimulated by some threat to your value system, or some threat of something that you prioritize, that you love, being taken away. Or, and that could be a thing, you know, it could be money, it could be property, it could be your kids, it could be, but it could also be, like you said, an identity marker. You know, someone else in my group recently said that I had said something to the effect of, when you anxiety is avoiding your own expansion, and or is resisting your expansion. And she's like, well, what happens when someone is causing you real harm? And I asked about that more deeply, and she had expressed that she was with a husband who had been emotionally kind of abusive and seemed to fit a narcissistic paradigm, and would gaslight her and cheat on her and steal her money. And now he wanted a divorce, and she was fighting the divorce because she didn't want to give him the money that he wanted, and she didn't want to lose her status, and she didn't want to do this, and she didn't want to do that. So to my mind, it's like, so the issue there, in my perspective, the universe is giving you a giant escape route. Like, first of all, why didn't you try to leave this guy a long time ago? Secondly, now that the opportunity is there, she's fighting it. And why? Because, like, did all of that money make you happy? Are you not willing to buy your freedom here? Don't you think that your freedom is worth it? And so the issue becomes, she's not valuing what's valuable about herself. She's valuing all these other things. And she's thinking, once I lose all these other things, even him, she wanted to keep him because he was a status symbol, because it meant she was married, right? But the idea, the universe is, in my opinion, trying to strip her of all the things that she values, that she prioritizes, that she thinks is what's good and right about her, so that she can see what is actually valuable, good, and right about her, which is none of those things. And so if she can find that tremendous opportunity that is being offered to her, then she has a chance to step into her own power. And I 100% believe that these things happen when you're ready for them. So if she's in a position to where she's making a ton of money and now she's afraid of losing it with this guy, it's because whatever coping skills and strengths she had to get her this far, to make that much money, to be that fiscally responsible, means that she's also strong enough now to have it all taken away and rebuild it from a place of real value and self-worth, so that she can call in a partner who can share in that with her and not usurp her vitality and life force, right? But she has to believe that for herself, and she must not. Otherwise, she would have let it happen. So that's kind of why I'm asking these kinds of questions, because it becomes that relationship between outer and inner. So I want people to think of me in this way. I don't want them to think of me in this way. That's your persona. That's the mask you're wearing. Okay. And that's where we put a lot of time, energy, and effort into producing that. So then when you feel vulnerable and or threatened, that becomes your inner experience. And that's when the mask sort of automatically gets thrown up, right? But okay, so now we're removing the mask and we're going in. When you feel vulnerable and threatened, how do you respond? In this woman's circumstance, she clung tighter, right? She was clinging tighter. There's an overemphasis on clinging to what I'm going to call what she was egoically attached to, what she was falsely valuing and prioritizing, okay? So, and how has that served her? She wouldn't do it if it didn't serve her in some way. So she must be getting served in some fashion. Status, aplomb, people like her. She has a sense of belonging. She feels superior to other people. Maybe it flies in the face of a negative childhood where maybe she was poor and didn't have a lot of money. So those things are serving her in some way. So the next question would be, but sometimes it creates bigger problems what's the bigger problem? She's in a relationship with a usurping narcissist, right? And she's not valuing what is really valuable about her. So she's miserable and she's in a victimized place, right? So if I didn't respond this way, I'm afraid that. So if she let it all go, if she bought her freedom, if she just said, you know what, none of these things define me, and I am so much bigger than any of these things could possibly ever contain of what is me, and I'm going to go start living a whole new life and have a whole new identity that doesn't require that I live in a victimized place. If she's afraid that if she were to do that, then the underlying fear is that she's not valuable. There's nothing valuable about her. Nobody else would love her. She'll be lost and destitute and living on the street. Like, that is the fear, right? So then you have to ask, okay, well, to get over that fear, what would you need to believe? Well, she would need to believe that she had the supports in place, that wouldn't happen. She would need to believe that she has enough skills, capacities, smarts, and experience under her belt to put the things in place so that couldn't happen to her. And she would also have to believe that she is valuable. She is good enough. She is lovable. Somebody will be there for her, whether it's a lover, whether it's a friend or a support person or something, right? And so then that must mean that what she really wants, if that's what she would need to believe, what does she really want? She wants to be free. She wants to be who she really is. She wants to feel her own value. She wants to step into her power. She wants to know that all of those things are in place. I know and desire to live a free life where relationships are not about bondage. They are about abundance, and they are about collaboration, and they are about love and reciprocity, and they are about building something bigger than we each are separately. And knowing that whatever happens, I will be okay. And I am of value just by virtue of the fact that I exist.